Good evening and welcome to Man Talk. I am your host, Susan Joroge, and for the conversation today online and on the socials, use the hashtag ManTalk and the hashtag KTN Life and Style so I can see all your tweets and all your posts. And remember, you can SMS us on our SMS line right on the screen, 22151. Now on Man Talk today, we are going to be discussing addiction. Gambling addictions, gaming addictions, addictions to online sports, addictions that are really affecting our families and our friends. And I've brought the gentlemen here so they can explain it to me. How is it best to have an intervention for a man if you think they're facing a difficulty or an addiction in something? Very excited to meet the gentlemen I'm going to be discussing with today. We are shooting at Riata Service Apartments just off Ralph Mbushe Road. Such a convenient location if you are staying in Nairobi. You are so close to town and close to many other activities. So come through if you want a staycation or you want to treat your person. They do both short and long-term stays. So if you're coming to Nairobi for work, it's also the perfect place for you. Now, I like to share a quote to get us along with the show. And today, for addiction, for anybody that might be thinking, I have a problem, for anybody that might be thinking, I'm hiding and I want to work on this thing and I want to stop, there's a quote that I have from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he says, our greatest victory is not in never failing, but in rising up every time we fail. Our greatest victory is not in never failing, it is in rising up every time you fail. So if you feel that you're struggling with something, you feel that you're trying to fight an addiction, keep up the fight, you can be able to do better than this. And now let's go talk to the gentlemen and find out what they think. I am joined by three wonderful gentlemen, and I'm so excited to introduce them and get into the conversation today. But our conversation is not so wonderful. We are going to be discussing addiction and looking at how men deal with addiction. How do you even figure out you might be addicted? And what's the best way to get out of it? Now, I'm going to start off with the gentleman furthest from me, Emmanuel.
Hi guys.
Welcome back to the show. He's Emmanuel Guambo. He is a brand consultant and he's been on Man Talk before. So I'm happy to see you return.
I'm happy to be here, man.
Yeah?
Super excited.
I like it. And then we are joined by Alan. Now, Alan is a show host like myself. He is also a sports enthusiast. And welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So happy to have you, man.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like it. Good energy. And last and definitely not least is Eric Kipkoech, who is an artist. Man of few words, aliniambia nisikibia sana, but we are going to get there at the end.
Thank you very much.
I'm happy to have you here. I really like your sweater, by the way.
It's a pleasure.
Very
Thank
cool
you.
sweater.
Oh, Kamtumba Flani. Thank
Hey, unatupatia all the artist vibes, all of them. Now, let's start off simple. I want to understand your definition of addiction. If you see it in gaming or you don't see it in gaming, Eric, we can start off with you. How would you describe addiction? Kuko addicted kwa kitu like ni kusema nini?
Okay, thank you very much. I can talk about addiction kupitia angles tofauti. You know, addiction ni kuzoea kitu.
Right.
You know. So, addiction according to gaming, personally I'm not an addict. Sipendi gaming.
Okay.
Sipendi gaming. Na sipendi like I don't even watch the games, yeah?
Or like even the football games and everything?
I don't even watch them.
Which team do you support? Let's just find out now.
I support the winning team.
Hey!
I always support the winning team.
I like
Nangojanga
it.
game iisho, then I say nilikuwa white.
Nilikuwa white. That's smart.
Na represent our watu. Tuko wengi by the way. So addiction is when you get used to the game paka you just feel like unataka kucheza, you are just into it. Unaona, you can't do anything else. Siku haiwezi isha without you kucheza game fulani.
Right.
It could be pool table, as simple as that. You know? Yeah. Kuna mtu akitoka job jioni, you just can't do anything as you wanna play the pool.
Yes.
Yeah, hiyo ndo kuzoea it takes much of your time.
Too much.
Yeah.
When you're giving it too much time.
Yeah.
Alan, do you agree with his definition? Would you add something?
I think, according to me, addiction is when something takes a toll on you. And mostly it becomes dangerous if you find yourself hiding when doing something. I think now that's when addiction has really gone to the extreme.
Yeah.
Like if you find yourself hiding so
To
that
do
you
it.
can do something, then
Yeah.
then you are far way into addiction that you need help.
Okay, I
Yeah.
like that. Emmanuel, anything to add to the definition of
Maybe
addiction?
just to sum up what they've said, first you can tell it's habitual. So it means it's something that you're doing on a constant basis.
Right.
And what Alan said now, when it becomes negative and detrimental towards you, now that's where we have a problem. Ukianza kuona ina affect in a negative way, inaweza kuwa financially, inaweza kuwa, you know, emotionally, always distressed. Hapo nayo, you just have to come out clean and say, I think I'm an addict and I need
Yeah,
help.
yeah. How easy is it for men to be able to do that? Have you guys ever had somebody close to you, a bro, a friend, come and tell you, I'm addicted to this? Yani ye mwenyewe anachimbua.
Yeah, it just takes trying, you know. Ukienda utry and you like the game, the next day you're gonna try and eventually you get used to, you know. Some games, in fact, in some games you play for the money.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
when you are gambling for the money now, when you're gambling for the money, it gets serious, you know. Especially ukipata hiyo do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so uta ignore all the times you've been losing just because you have won it once, you know.
Yes.
Or maybe a friend may win.
So
All
it's
it
not even
takes-
your own
it's not,
winning.
It's not even you. Maybe a
basing it
friend,
on-
yeah, a friend may win. Na may win pesa mzuri, and you saw it, yeah?
Yes.
You saw him going to gamble. In fact, maybe you haven't tried. Umeona your friend has gone to gamble. Na amerudi na pesa, ama umeona akiwin hiyo pesa. My friend, you're gonna try.
Yeah.
I've tried it once or twice, lakini hapana. I'm not a lucky one.
You're like, I can't.
I'm not a lucky one.
I think sometimes it's good when you believe you're not the lucky one. Because I'm also like that. I believe I'm not necessarily a lucky person, so I don't try
Yeah.
raffles
Or all those stuff.
gambling. Yeah.
Makes sense. But just to answer what you said, it's not easy to accept that you have a problem. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter whether it's gambling. Naturally, society, especially for men, we're
Yes.
egoistic beings. So unapata ni ngumu for a guy to just come out and say, hey bro, mimi niko na
Mimi.
shida ya kugamble na nahitaji help. Unaona? Because number one, ataonekana ni kama wewe kwani umekuwa ukifanya hii kitu. You get what Alan was saying, amekuwa akifanya secretly.
True.
So now to come out in the open and confess that you have a problem, it becomes tricky to some extent. So most people actually hide in it. They're suffering with it.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a way in which, unajua, tunaweza watoa nje na tuambie mse this, you can shift from gambling to probably day trading at the stock exchange. Still
It's
the same
true.
thing,
Almost the
but
same
one
risk
possibly
even,
has,
but
you know,
one a bit better.
one is a bit better, it's well regulated, there are professionals who can help you to go about it. So ni about to create your culture, wase wajitoe na waseme, it's okay, I have this problem, I'm willing to be helped, help me.
Yeah, I like that.
I think the problem here is how people perceive when you come out and say maybe you're addicted. Because it's not hard for a man to come out and speak and say, I'm addicted to something. But it's always, how will people perceive me after that?
Kweli.
And after all, and it also depends with the kind of addiction. There's some addictions you can easily tell people, yo, I'm addicted to this and that.
Which ones would you say are like a little bit easier to share in society?
Alcohol.
Like alcohol. When you're addicted to alcohol,
In Kenya, it's so sad, but
so
it's true.
Easy, yeah. It's so easy to come out and say, yo, I'm addicted to alcohol.
Yeah.
You find
Mimi
some,
lazima nikunywe kabla nienda mahali, kabla nifanye kitu, lazima
kabla nifanye
nikunywe.
kazi.
Toa lock.
Like yeah, it's easy for someone.
Unatoanga lock every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that. But
Ashanga
unatoa
hiyo ni
lock.
kifuli gani huyo jamaa anatumia?
Ama unaenda kutoa lock unapata umefunja mlango.
Niongezee hapo, nadhani in some situations the person himself hajui yako addicted, you know. Si ati amekataa kusema, they don't know.
They think it's normal. They think what they're doing.
Kama mlevi vile umeongelea. Some drunkards think ukiwauliza watakwambia si uko addicted, I can't even stop tomorrow, but they can't, hawawezi.
That's true.
So hawajui wako addicted, hawajui imewaingia.
Yeah.
Unaona?
Yeah.
So mtu wako addicted na hii gambling atakaa akisema, si ati niko addicted, nacheza tu juu
I'm able,
maybe
like I
ako na
can.
reasons zake,
Niko na hiyo trani, niko na hiyo. So I have it today, so I might as well. Or it's my team.
So ukimuuliza atakwambia I'm not addicted.
Okay.
Interesting.
You talked about the different types of addiction. And I liked the example you gave of day trading and gambling. Like now if you're doing our sports gambling, our mobile phone gambling. And you were saying with day trading, there's an expert, someone who can help you and it's regulated. Now, you are a sports enthusiastic and you're a show host. How often are you bombarded with people asking for you for gambling advice?
Me.
And there's no such thing whether you guys as gambling advice. I don't think those two words should be coherent unless it's somebody telling you gamble for fun if you can with money you're willing to 100% lose, and once that money is over, leave it. Like I feel like that's the only true gambling advice. But I do radio and we do a sports show towards the end, and some of my co-hosts are asked by people, so do you think I should put money on this
On this
team?
team.
Yeah, do you think I should? Does that happen with you a lot?
I think when it comes to gambling advice, it depends with the type of gamble that you are engaging in.
Okay.
If it's something that requires skills, you can always go to people who have skills to like help you in terms of gambling to that effect. But when it comes to sports gambling, like betting on a sport like basketball
Yeah.
or tennis or maybe soccer, I don't think there's any sort of advice that you can be given in terms of what you should do. In fact, the best they do is to tell you, gamble what you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
it.
best advice you can get from anyone who is from anyone who knows about gambling. Like you should gamble something you can be able to lose, so that when you lose it, you don't lose your mind.
Yeah.
True.
And that's the only thing I tell people.
Very
Like,
true.
if they ask me, should I gamble? I just tell them gamble what you can be able to lose.
To
You
lose.
can afford to lose.
It's true.
So that when you lose it, you don't lose your mind.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
But the question becomes, what is what you can afford to lose? Because I'd like to think, if we're talking about an addiction and I can afford to lose 50 bob every day, you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
So
at
it will
what
just
point,
keep-
if we want to promote responsible gambling, tunaifanyaje in a way that vile unakanga chini unachapa budget yako, ini ya rent, ini ya watoto, ini ya sherehe, ini ya kanisa. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So,
True. Ini ya
sasa unaget, I think kunafaa kuwa pia na hiyo personal. If at all umesema sawa, me I'm going to stick with gambling, because kuna watu wameamua they're not going to stop, you see.
Yeah.
So how what best advice would you give such a person to tell them utajipanga aje? I think that's what we should tell them. Ndio mtu ajue nikishafika hii threshold na sijashinda, relax, come next month.
Leave it.
Easen up your mind, because unajua the more una try, the more vile alisema unajipata kama mlevi unaendelea kwa hiyo shimo na ujue uko na shida.
Very, very
Yeah.
true.
Na mimi naamini gambling advice iko, though I'm not a gambler. Juu if I'm beginning to gamble leo, siwezi tu ingia hivyo. I must find someone mwenye ataniambia this is what you do in the games.
What odds?
These are the games you're supposed
Sure
to
bet.
play.
Sure bet.
Yeah. In fact, kwa hii game there are people who are doing it as a business. Ni watu wa advice, watu wako na pages.
It's
They
become
give out
a
the
very
odds,
serious thing.
wanakupea
Yeah.
the odds, not that they know hii team ita win,
Even when
but
like
perception yao wanaona iko right.
even
They're
when
tipsters, yeah.
for soccer I can use probably as the easiest example, when the lineup comes out, then a lot of people can give opinions or give help based on that. When you see these professional pages that be like, this is the lineup, this person's injured, this person has COVID, this guy had an ankle thing, so this guy, so they're using all of that, somehow trying to make it a mathematical equation, then give you odds based on that.
Yeah.
How do we think addiction affects productivity, especially amongst men? Because a man will say, no, mimi venye nimepanga maisha yangu na mkanga, I work 3-4 hours, then after that, I've done like majority, I've done most of my thing, or if it's 5 hours, then after that, what I do is my time, it's fine. But each and every one of us, if you've ever dealt with anybody who is addicted to anything, whether it's a drug and alcohol addiction, or it's a gaming or gambling addiction, or any addiction, it always affects productivity. But how do you guys usually see it with men? Like, do you think men are easier to handle it? Ama wacha tu kujidanganya?
I think addiction is mostly mental, like how you prepare yourself. Like that's why professionals think that if you go to a psychologist, a psychiatrist, they can help you to handle with addiction, because it's not mostly mental. And talking of addiction, I was once addicted to playing FIFA. And it actually reduces your productivity.
What were you doing at the time? Were you in school? Were you working?
I was working.
Okay.
Yeah. So you find you go late to work.
Yeah, because you woke up early to game.
dates, Or maybe if
To
you-
dates.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
You're
good
being
one.
Umetoka, nimetoka, but
Niko tu hapa tu na
maybe you're
bado.
in town, you're already in town, but you decided, let me play 2 or 3 games first before she gets to town. Akifika niende.
Yes.
But then she gets to town na bado game mbili. Ama umecheza game moja wamekupatia bonus. So you find yourself getting late to that date because you must play. Ama you've gone home for a lunch break.
Yes.
And then unasema acha nicheze game moja and then suddenly you joke.
Before you know it, the afternoon is going. Yeah.
It's spent. Ama gani nyingine? Like maybe you have a rehearsal and umesema acha nipitie mahali.
Yes.
Nicheze game moja because watu hajafika. Before you get there utakuwa umechelewa, so it reduces productivity and sengine pia inafanya you run into debts.
Yeah.
Especially if it's gambling.
Yes.
And I had a friend mwenye debts zilifika zikakuwa a lot.
Too much to handle.
Too much because once you start asking for guys for money to bet, ukipoteza hiyo pesa, you'll ask another person for
So
money.
you can pay the other one
so
so
that
that
you pay this one.
it's a pyramid
And
scheme
then
now.
at the end of the day, you find yourself with a debt of close to 50,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when it gets to that point, it's either you run into depression or you steal. So I think that's where now the
Draw the
productivity main goes down. Cause
Yes.
if you have to get yourself to a point where you have a debt of 50,000 plus, and it's not money that you've used to maybe develop yourself or anything,
Yeah.
then your productivity goes down.
I was just thinking moshara ya modo, like in
Eh.
Kikuyu, somebody's whole salary
Yenye
is your
unaibeka
debt.
sasa.
Yeah.
I used to have a friend mwenye akipata pesa yoyote goes to a betting site virtual. In fact, hangojei ati weekend
Yeah,
kuwe na game.
this straight on the phone. You can
Anaingia
do
tu
it.
hapo virtual betting, anaweka 1,000 anapata 3,000. Anasema okay, 3,000 sinifikishe 20.
Yes.
And then he bets again with the 3,000. Inakuliwa, he goes, takes another 1,000 anarudisha huko
no.
gets to 3,000.
Yeah.
4,000, 5, anatoa 2,000, anabaki na 3, base the 3,000 inapotea, anakuja anachukua hii 2,000 anarudisha huko. So it's a whole cycle and you never know.
Yeah.
At the end of the day unajipata you're not productive because
Right.
you spend most of your time on the virtual betting.
Yeah.
So I think it reduces productivity.
In your own personal experience, let me just continue with Alan for a little bit. When you were like, wait, I think I'm actually addicted to FIFA. I need to switch this up. What made you realize? What made you, like, were you late? One day you were late to work the last time, and now your boss told you off, and you're like, no, this is enough. I know the problem. Was it a particular experience? Maybe even a date, like you're saying. Maybe the chick went off or she left. What was the thing that made you pull yourself back as Alan and say, okay, hapa niko na shida?
Well, I'm always good with excuses, so it's not it's not about the boss
Vizuri
or
kujijua.
the
Yeah,
girlfriend.
yeah.
I can give you a very good reason and you'd be like, yeah.
It makes sense.
It makes
That's
sense.
happened to me before,
Yeah.
maybe even.
Yeah, it makes sense, but I'm always very self-aware in terms of things that I do.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm engaging in something, I'm always measuring to see am I spending too much time on this thing?
Yeah.
And if I find myself spending too much time on this thing, then I know, yeah, I'm almost getting addicted to this. So I start withdrawing slowly.
Yeah.
By slowly, I get other things to do. Like when I found myself almost addicted to FIFA, I said no. Instead of just playing FIFA on the console, how about I go and watch a game?
Yeah. So you found something else to replace it with.
To replace with. I still play FIFA.
Yeah.
I can't go a whole week without playing.
Yeah.
But I don't do it like as often as I used to do.
Before. And it doesn't affect your life.
It doesn't affect.
Okay.
Like I can do my stuff, finish, and then say, because nishamaliza, nimeshatoka job, tuingie FIFA.
Yes.
And then when I go, I can't even play more than 4 games. I'll be bored.
Yeah, after a while you
Akili itakuwa
realize
imechoka,
the mind is done.
So I think maybe someone can try by replacing it with something else that is less harmful.
Yeah, that's good advice actually. Smokers get a lot of that advice because when you're trying to quit smoking, a lot of the science shows that it's the habit that's the hardest thing to quit. So you have to find something for your hands to do. If your mouth is used to being busy and that's how your mind has worked, you have to find something to do. That's why people try gum or nicotine gum or whatever it is that you're trying. And hard habits, find
Or the
something
electric
else to
cigarettes,
fiddle
yeah.
with. Yes, just so that the
Replacing
habits
habit that's
share.
possibly more positive than the one you're currently having.
Exactly. And it takes about 21 days to form a habit. If you do something at a particular
consistent.
time consistently, then eventually your body will be like, this is something we do. This is something we do to function.
It's cognitive.
Yeah. Have you guys ever struggled with your own personal addictions, or have you ever had someone close to you?
Myself, I've been addicted some time back, but it was alcohol. Alcohol nilianza campus and then it became too much after campus. And I had a job somewhere, but it cost me the job.
Yes.
And hapo kwa productivity sasa you can't do like I was an editor somewhere. You can't do the work they require of you. Najua, you come in the morning and you have a lot of excuses just because you are wasting your time while the rest of the people are doing their work.
Yes.
Wewe ulikuwa una waste time yako kwa pombe. That's the same thing na huyo guys anataka kukataa yes he addict lakini akirudi jioni anacheza game 4 5 hivi. Sasa hiyo saa mtu mwingine anafanya something else productive.
That's true. That's true. It's about deciding what that time is, the value of that time. Because 4 hours or 4 games, labda ni sherehe ama labda mtu mwingine ako gym. It might not necessarily be a bad thing if you're comfortable with giving those hours for the game and it doesn't affect anything else. Then I would say it's all right. Because hata saa zingine ni happiness yako. Venye mtu anapendanga kufanya another activity. Sometimes our jobs are not our happiest. But there's something else you do that makes you happy. But you can't let it lose control. Like what Eric is saying. Ujiangalia at all times. At least of 4 games. Anakuambia kama unaweza reduce, uangalie, you know.
In fact, ukienda hizi casinos,
yes,
utapata watu wanakuja na with a lot of money, you know. Someone ana earn mshahara leo na ana decide I'm gonna risk the whole of this money because sometimes I'm a win, yeah. So you think about the family au guys.
Yeah.
Kuna mtu mwingine amepata hiyo do yote na akachukua to the family.
Yes.
Huyo msee ameamua tu akuja aweke yake hapa. Hiyo familia yake uko home ina safa.
Sasa casino ndio imekuwa family.
Yeah. So
it's true.
Unapata tu pesa mingi haiendi kwa family.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing your story. Emmanuel, have you ever maybe been addicted to something at some point in your life or had somebody very close to you who was struggling?
Personally, it was a very long time ago. FIFA. Like me, I'm a football head. Totally.
Yes.
But
Which team? I didn't ask you.
Arsenal, always and ever.
Oy.
Yeah, it's
Everything is going to be okay. Yeah, even you said it's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's
we will
fine.
find someone to walk you down the
Exactly.
stairs. So that you
Alan,
don't-
what team do you support?
The greatest team in England.
Manchester
20 times
United.
champions. And we just like acquired the greatest
The
of all
guy,
time.
the man,
Yeah.
CR7.
CR7, so-
Amen.
True.
Same team.
Good team. Good choice. Good squad.
Moving on. So you said
Moving
you're
on
really
swiftly.
into swiftly.
Yeah.
You're really into football and FIFA some time back when you were younger, years ago.
Yeah, but one thing I can say is, let me put it from the real perspective right now. I have friends who are still into gambling and they still really do it on a heavy basis.
Okay.
And you have to come to understand that these people are doing this because of one thing. Wanataka kuomoka. You get?
Yes.
Because mtu asikudanganya na bet ati because they like it or it's fun. Ni
There's
juu
nothing
anataka
fun
kuomoka.
about the
Unaona?
process.
So what we really need to understand is what is causing this addiction. They need kuomoka, and how can we change that mindset and get people to think along a different line of
Boom.
can I take the same effort enye naeka kufanya kuanalyze niende ni analyze kitu ingine ama nijiongeze skill ingine enye naweza niundia do. Unaona, si ati unaomba serikali kupe kazi, we finya time yako fanya
Yeah.
fanya
and you
whatever needs
create, and
to
you
be. Yeah.
create kazi for other youths.
Exactly,
Your business yako
exactly.
itagrow,
So-
hustle yako itagrow.
So ni hivyo tu, like ni kupanga tu time yako unaiweka in another activity that is likely to give you a better return in the long run.
Oh my gosh, I think you have hit the nail on the head. I want us to take a slight short break. You are watching Man Talk here on KTN Home. We will be right back after the break.